Good evening, everybody. Has anybody seen the Mamma Mia show or film?
Yes.
Fantastic, isn't it? I would say a great success for Judy Kramer. I would say the Mamma Mia is definitely in her DNA. And when the film, Judy insisted that the film be shot using the authentic Greek locations. Now, Greek farmers have known for centuries that crossbreeding of animals and plants could further favour desirable traits. Gregory Mendel, he was a farmer's son, a monk, was known for his pea experiments, leading him to be the father of genetics and publishing his works in 1866. 3 decades later, his work is recognised as ushering in the modern age of genetics. Now, 6 years earlier, that would be 1859, Alfred Russel Wallace wrote to Charles Darwin about his studies in the East, and this stimulated Charles to produce his Origins of Species. He hardly thought it was going to flush out the sons of bigotry and intolerance, ready to send him to the stake. Fortunately, he had some superb supporters in Professor Huxley and Haskell. When Charles died in 1882, all was forgiven, and he was laid to rest in Westminster Abbey next to Isaac Newton. My name's James Gollins. My company is Darwin Tours. I shall tell you what Darwin Tours will deliver, why it is different, and how it will add value to the Shrewsbury, Shropshire visitors' experience and the attractions that tour companies and Shropshire accommodation providers can offer. I am a native of Shrewsbury, and my background is in local tourism and as a tour mini-coach operator. I have a passionate interest in Darwin and ecology generally, and it is this that has led me to specialise in Darwin Tours. Darwin Tours will be very much focused on the origin of the writer of Origins of the Species and how his upbringing in Shrewsbury formed the man who was to become one of the most significant, independent, influential thinkers in modern history. Each location on a Darwin's tour will have a tale to tell, as well as providing a link between Shrewsbury of Darwin's day and the present day. Let's imagine it's mid-1700s. French Revolution, priestly riots, Methodism. Pulteney MP for Shrewsbury appointed Thomas Telford as county surveyor. Many rivers, very few bridges, no roads. John Howard was a prison reformer. Abraham Darby was creating iron. We have a flax mill, first iron frame building in the world. Robert Darwin sets up as a physician in 1787, and being a very successful doctor, rented accommodation, then built his own house, moving into it in 1800. It was alongside the turnpike that Thomas Telford, another huge influence on Britain at that time, was building through Shropshire to Holyhead, and at the entrance to the mount is one of Telford's distinctive milestones. Charles Darwin's father, Robert, married Sue Ann, a Wedgwood, a daughter of Joshua. And in 1809, Charles Darwin was born at the Mount. Free thinking and good education through the Unitarian Church and Shrewsbury School helped him form a youthful Charles Darwin, although he preferred doing chemistry experiments with his brother and examining insects in the rigours of school life and girlfriends. By the time he left on the transformative voyage of HMS Beagle in 1831, he had studied at Edinburgh and Cambridge universities and developed his lifetime fascination with natural science. He was diving into a sea of new ideas in science, politics, literature, road and rail networks that were connecting his birthplace to the nation. There was innovations in shipbuilding, power generation, and commerce. This can be seen in microcosm in Shrewsbury, itself in the flax mill, the first iron frame building, Thomas Telford's Great Road, now the A5, the grandiose Gothic railway station, all sit side by side with the large elements of the medieval and Georgian town, a town where the heritage and a cast of famous characters belie its size and location. Now, Darwin tours will also thread together and illustrate the narrative with relevant locations and buildings. The experience for the customer will be one that delivers visual treats, historic fact, a sense of what Shrewsbury would have looked like, smelt like, and sounded like in the 19th century, and puts them in the centre of the action. The narrative should take Darwin and some of the famous sons and daughters of Shrewsbury and wonder how they would respond to the town they see today. It will also reach out to the contemporary Darwin connections, such as Wedgwood, now served by its museum and brand new visitor centre, as well as the Iron Gorge. A Darwin tour will be a couple of hours in a visitor's life that they will feel was given them good value, stimulation and enjoyment, a time they will remember with warmth and tell others. They should take away with them a mental picture of Shrewsbury as a memorable place and a unique crucible for creative thought and the beauty derived from the location with a rich architectural mix on a human scale. As Shrewsbury continues to evolve, the prison, working with the establishment of the university, it will have a new life with the studying of functions of plants and health, while at the flax mill, a rebirth into vertical farming projects with the reopening of the Shrewsbury-Newport Canal. Food and Agriculture at the United Nations has declared this the International Year of Soil. Soil is the living skin around the world, or around the earth, keeping the chemistry and biology in balance for living organisms and is vital for a productive soil. This is best done by not ploughing. A local farmer, Arthur Hollins, Fordall Farm, pioneered this idea 50 years ago with the help of Keele University. Darwin Tours will play its part in drawing attention to this fine market town. My tours will begin on the 14th of April this year, extending them to the Virgin Islands. I can hear you thinking, what is the connection? Well, the deeds of Darwin's birthplace, the Mount, were bought by Virgin Island-based investment company when Tony Blair's government was selling the family silver, with a plan to recreate the 18th century experience there at the Mount in Shrewsbury.